Everything in your life could look different in 90 days, and not in a cheesy motivational poster kind of way. I mean, radically different. But you've got to be honest with yourself for a second, and you just need to stop lying. Have a little think. How much time and money do you spend drinking alcohol, just chasing that rabbit hole, that escapism? How much time do you spend on Instagram flicking through reels, and then you go onto TikTok to flick through those reels because you've exhausted the last one? How many abandoned projects have you got? How many things have you started that you've not seen through? How much junk food are you eating? How many quick little dopamine hits are you getting? How much potential are you letting slip by? And honestly, I know exactly how you feel because I've been in this situation last year, and honestly, I was in that situation until I gave up booze 5 years ago, and that was a real big catalyst for me. And what it feels like is just being stuck behind a massive brick wall, and that wall is the only thing stopping you from actually living up to your potential and living a life you can actually be proud of. And honestly, I know exactly how you feel. I've been there. I've been in so many situations where I'm just full of shame, where I've been addicted to alcohol. I spent most of my 20s just pissing away all of my potential. Any project I started, I would just never follow through because I'd be too hungover. I ended up with a crippling panic disorder. I'd get such bad panic attacks driving that it felt like I was going to die, and I didn't feel safe to drive. It became so trapping. I'd end up being so anxious and just riddled with anxiety because of all the drinking, and just it felt like I wasn't living up to my potential. It felt like I wasn't being true to myself, but I kept continuing with these little, I hate to use the word rabbit hole, but that's how it felt. Just all these little quick hits of escapism, and it feels like I repeated that word several times, but that's honestly how it was. If I just distracted myself for a second, I didn't have to confront the actual fear of just not being who I actually wanted to be. It felt like all of my potential was slipping away, and it's just completely soul rotting. That's how it felt. It just gives you that discontented feeling. You know something's wrong deep down, but it's easier just to ignore it and to push it down with external dopamine and vices and addiction. And here's the uncomfortable truth that no one tells you. The pain of doing nothing is so much worse than that uncomfortable feeling of just doing something. The thing is, time is going to pass anyway. If I do absolutely nothing now, in a year's time, I'm going to be in exactly the same position. And in 2 years' time, I'm going to be in a similar position, but worse off. And I wish I would have started sooner, whether that wants to be fitness, whether it's making a YouTube channel, whether it's starting a business, whatever it is you want to do, it's just starting it. And that's the thing. I didn't want to get to my deathbed and look at myself and think I could have done more. Why didn't I do those things? Because I was scared, because I was embarrassed, because I was addicted to alcohol and all these things were holding me back. It got to a point where I refused to live like that. It was about 5 or 6 years ago. I was the fattest I've ever been, and healthiest. I was drinking, honestly, 30, 40, maybe 50 units every day. I felt like shit. It was the lowest point I've been. And I just had enough. I had enough. I hated being that way. And that sort of hate and that power is what I used to propel myself out of it. That just sheer dissatisfaction because I knew exactly what I didn't want. And I've had rock bottoms before. I've been arrested for drink driving and other things, and you think those would be the catalyst to start, but it was never quite enough. But there's one pivotal moment in COVID, and I remember it very clearly, and that was it. That was the line in the sand, and I refused to keep living like that. It was at that point where I decided I need to step into my potential and start rebuilding the man. And I know in the beginning I said it only takes 90 days to change your life, and I honestly, truly believe that. But you've got to start step by step. If I look back 5 years ago, all that time's gone quickly, but it all started with one conscious decision. The first one for me was just giving up booze. And I've always been into health and fitness. I was going to the gym maybe once or twice a week, but I was never really giving it my all. Same with like business and things like that. I'd start so many projects and just leave them. So I started off with just doing a few simple actions and just building them step by step. Lots of little micro habits that you can build. And it really doesn't feel like a lot in the beginning, but these little incremental gains, they really, really do stack up. And before you know it, you've done a week, you've done 2 weeks, you've done 3 months, and they all add up if you just keep stacking these little changes. And I've got a few notes written down just about some of the things that have really helped me and propel me forwards. So the things I've been doing every day just to keep me moving in the direction I want to go, because there's nothing worse than just stagnating. For me anyway. I'm now addicted to progress. Progress is my new addiction. I think for me, I'm always an all or nothing person. If I do something, I'm just going to fucking do it. Whether that's drinking to excess and destroying my body, my mind, and my anxiety. Because honestly, it felt like I had to rebuild my mind entirely from the ground up. It got to the point where I was so trapped, the thought of driving a 10-15 minute drive and getting stuck in traffic lights would just cause me to have a panic attack. The thought of going on a dual carriageway caused me to have a panic attack. So I had to rebuild my mind from the bottom up. And it starts with the morning for me. I've never been a morning person. I work full-time as a chef, so mornings have been horrendous. But I now get up every day, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and that is now a ritual. I know it all sounds cliche. You've heard it before. Morning routines are a thing, but a morning routine for me grounds me. It just means I've got a couple of hours before anyone's up, before anything's happening, and I do a little morning workout routine. I put my little sad lamp on, especially now in the winter, which it sort of mimics the sunshine. So I do a little bit of a workout, and then I take the dog for a walk. Even if I don't do the workout, it's taking the dog for a walk, and that is so grounding for me. It's been the most beneficial thing I've ever had. And if you don't have a dog, I just recommend going for a walk. But without my border collie Reggie, I'm not really sure how I would have survived all the things I've been through in the last couple of years. Even this year, with a breakup, becoming a dad, and all of that, it's been a monumental year. As well as sort of doing a bit of a morning routine, whatever works for you, but just start building something. Get up, have a coffee, take the dog out for a walk, take yourself out for a walk. It's just breaking the routine. You don't want to wake up, scroll on your phone, snooze. You need to wake up with some purpose, get some momentum going. That is the way to win the day, basically. Clean fuel as well. Just eat as clean as possible. One ingredient foods is what I stick to sort of 80% of the time, and it works. So if you just think sweet potatoes, chicken, vegetables, stuff like that, keep it simple. Consistent training. For me, training is what keeps this all intact. Without training, my mind is, not saying it wanders, it compares, it looks for cheap dopamine, it looks for easy wins, it looks for, I don't know, comparison. It just, without running and without weight training, this all collapses for me. And I know that sounds like a crutch, but honestly, training is what saved my life. Running is the single best thing I've ever started doing. It's something I hated in the beginning, but you slowly get a little bit better. Your heart rate improves, your resting heart rate improves, your HRV improves, and you get addicted to getting a little bit better. You get a better time. You start tracking it on Strava. But runs for me to clear the brain. It's just so freeing. If I'm a bit annoyed, or if I'm a bit frustrated, or a bit sad, any emotion, that is gone after a run. It's gone after a run. It's so beneficial for my mind and for my health. Same with like cycling. Anything that just gets your heart rate up, that gets you just flowing, gets the blood flowing, is beneficial. And weight training is something I've always been into. I always wanted to look like Bruce Lee or Arnold Schwarzenegger or Frank Zane in the beginning. And it's something that just helps develop a strong body, helps develop discipline, because you start eating a bit more protein, you start sticking to a consistent plan. It all just works hand in hand, and you get some pretty decent biceps as well. So it makes you feel good, it makes you look good, and just getting into a bit of a lean body shape. I mean, I could talk about training forever, but we'll move on to the next point. And it's cutting out the escapism. It's getting rid of things which are just going to distract you from your mission, from your plan, whether it's being a better dad, whether it's just becoming a better person. Get rid of Netflix, get rid of Instagram, get rid of TikTok, make them hard to access. Stop getting takeaways, stop going for all the quick immediate wins. A little treat every now and then is great, but you end up with a shorter attention span and your brain just, it turns to rot basically. And as well, for me, it's just being present for my son. Since everything happened, everything went to shit basically, I made a conscious decision that I need to be the best version of myself for my son. And these last 4 months have been pivotal, they've been transformational, and it's the best shape I've ever been in. Because I've been training, because I've been exercising, because I've been eating better, it's helped me cope with everything that's happened. And now I'm stepping into the best version of myself. It's choosing discomfort over drifting. And drifting is so easy. That is the devil's best trick, drifting. So try and choose the hard things. Try and get those done first thing in the morning, which is why I like doing everything for me in the morning. And just showing up no matter what, no matter how you feel, whether you're sad, mad, tired. There's some days where I don't want to do a lot, but I will do the bare minimums, which will be my morning routine, which will be a workout, which will be just doing one big task a day. And what I've started trying to do is not spin so many plates, not put so much pressure on myself to do everything in that day, and go to bed knowing I've done my task for today. These are the things that have really helped me over the last 5 years, and have really just helped me in the last 4 months especially. And the thing is, if you're sick of wasting your potential, if you feel like time is slipping through your fingers, the best time to start is today, not next Monday, not New Year. 2026 is maybe, a month and a bit away. Just start now, start today. Start thinking about it, write some down, get some goals in. I've got a journal that is working absolutely wonders for me. It's about just rebuilding the man brick by brick, a little bit at a time. You're never going to climb the mountain immediately. You just need to start with very small actions and compound them. For me, when I go back, like I said, it was just stopping drinking. That was the first thing. Then it's getting back into an exercise routine. Then it's eating a bit healthier once my sort of blood sugar stabilized. It's just bit by bit. My favorite phrase, all of my chefs hate it because I'm always bringing it up, is the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time to plant a tree is right now. So I will leave you with that message.